What's up guys, Santani here, gonna bring you some more Guild Wars 2 content. We'll go ahead and jump into my level 15 Elementalist and give you guys my thoughts so far, strengths, weaknesses, go over some of the build ideas, go over the abilities, the weapons, and what makes her unique and kind of replaces the fact that she can't have a second uh, weapon set equipped, unlike all the other classes that have the ability to switch between two different weapon sets. Once it decides to load in here. Alrighty. You see there, you don't see the weapons swap. That's because she gets to cycle between all of these elements. It gives you a little brief overview of everything. You're dealing heavy damage, burning, gaining superior support and healing abilities, heavy damage and control abilities. Not that many control abilities really, and superior damage over time and defensive abilities. So, let's go ahead and jump into the weapons right now. With the dagger main hand in the fire, you gain a lot of burning stuff, and that's you get 3 projectiles. It's a little spread, so if you're close range, it's kind of like a shotgun. All 3 will hit, dealing more damage compared to being further away and only one of them hit. You breathe fire, pretty self-explanatory there. This gives you a little bit of mobility. You slide forward and blast an area. You also leave behind the line of fire. This one gives you vulnerability, a really good support condition, debuff. This one is deal damage. You breathe water, spray water, and deals damage to foes and heals allies. And then chills them, again, another really good support condition. The air, effectively just lightning. I don't know why they just don't call it lightning, because there's a few air abilities, but most everything is going to be lightning. I really like the animation for this one. I can show it to you really fast. Pretty cool animation. And that's the animation for that one. Like I said, it gives you some mobility with that. And you breathe fire. Water, this one's really fun because it also returns to you, so you hit them twice. You'll hit once when you pass, and it'll hit again when it comes back. If I remember correctly, it does double stack effectively the vulnerability. 1 stack per each hit. That's the spray. Then that's really close range, so it's a good thing to use, especially in dungeons. If you are sitting in a support style role, then you can use that. Chill them, back up, give the tank time to re-grab aggro. This one here shocks them and inflicts weakness, and that one is a little stun nearby foes if they attack you. They can only be affected by this every 2 seconds, and it lasts for 4 seconds, so effectively you can only affect them with it twice. Gives them bleeding, more bleeding, and then cripple, and then that immobilizes them, making them susceptible to the magnetic leap attack, which will switch real fast. Let's see. Pull yourself and deliver a strike. So it doesn't. The strike itself doesn't do anything fancy. But that's about it for the dagger. That's the animation for that. Little close range AoE, and then that'll stun somebody. That'll do the weakness, and then that's your little shield you see. This build right now, I'm trying out Dagger Focus, something kind of a little, I've never tried it before, so I figured may as well give it a shot. We've got the focus abilities for fire, little burning wall that with Smart Cast you'll cast it on your target, and anyone who comes near it or around it will also get burned, and then a little shield that every time they attack you burns them and also grants you might, increasing your damage and your condition damage. Chill, and then drops a comment on him. The focus, dagger focus, is a lot more offensive when it comes to the water spec than you see from a lot of the other ones. Destroys projectiles, really handy if you're taking projectile damage, especially in PvE when you're fighting melee and projectile users. Really handy to throw that up and take less damage from the projectiles while you're dealing with the melee, or gives you time to move in on the projectile users, drop them first, and then a knockdown. And then damage foes, cure 3 of your conditions, and reflect projectiles. And then makes yourself invulnerable for 4 seconds. The Warhorn, we can't see anything of right now, being as that it's your elite spec weapon. You have to hit level 80 before you can unlock it, but gives yourself might to yourself and spread boons to your allies. So yeah, so if you're sitting with a lot of boons, you give yourself might, and then you copy all of that to all of your up to 5 allied targets, which most everything is, except for in the raids when it's 10 people, I do believe, in the raids. Dungeons are 5, PvPs appears to be 5, so that just sends all your buffs, all your boons to your allies to as long as 600 range. Fiery Torrent burns enemies. Send out a tidal wave that regenerates and heals allies and knocks back enemies, so more support styled. Watery Orb that heals allies as it travels. Pulls enemies towards its location, grants swiftness to allies and effects, so it could be used as like if someone's running away, pull them close, or just group everybody up for AoE damage from other party members. Fires projectiles at nearby enemies, also does vulnerability. Missile launch interval every quarter second. Apply protection to you and your allies. Increase the duration of all boons currently existing on you and your allies. So it could be a good thing to like immediately use heat sink and then switch over to earth and do that to also give another buff and also increase the duration. Got lost in what I was trying to say there. Summon a dust to inflict conditions, bleeding and damage, or blindness, bleeding and damage. Damage. Dagger offhand. Usually you'll see a lot of dagger. It's what I used to run, so I decided to give it another go. Kind of tempted to see how Scepter Dagger does. Might be kind of fun. Downside is Scepter is ranged, whereas Dagger offhand is kind of close range. Ring of Fire puts a ring around you. They walk through it, they get hit with burning. If they're hit by it, you get burning right away. Fire Grab just deals damage to foes in a cone in front of you. If they're burning, it deals more damage, so everything in here does burning, so combos well with itself. Protect yourself with frost armor, reducing incoming damage by 10%. It also chills enemies who hit you. And it can only be affected by it once every second. Lasts for 4 seconds, so you can do it 4 times. You can stack. You'd be pricey a max stack of 3, being as the chill lasts for 2 seconds. Or maybe it would just be a max of 2. I don't know. And then heal yourself nearby enemies, and it'll cure 2 conditions. Ride the Lightning, it's a mobility thing. It's good to initiate. If you got a little group there, you target one, you ride the Lightning in, and it does a little burst damage. It's got a pretty good range too, 1200 range for the initiate. And then if you do hit a foe by the burst, then it cooldown is halved. Updraft gains swiftness and launch nearby foes, so it's a good thing. You can launch people that get close, and then it gives you swiftness. Or if you're moving around, like if you're trying to move around a city, you see a lot of people running a dagger offhand just for the mobility, because you can ride lightning, cover a lot of ground, then you can give yourself swiftness for 10 seconds, increase your movement speed. Target quake at your location, knocking down and dealing damage. and then more bleeding and more cripple, which is what we saw out of the dagger primary for Earth. Let's go over the scepter. Burning, and vigor. Increases your endurance, and also cures a condition. That one doesn't do anything fancy. No. 3 ice shards at the enemy, inflicts vulnerability, and then heals and damages foes. Gives you regen for 3 seconds also. Casts an arc of electricity at your foe. Not entirely certain what the stages are. Strike foe with lightning, and blind, and then bleeding. A rock barrier improves your toughness, and then a blind with sand. And then staff is a lot of your AoE styled stuff, your centralized. If you're going to be a healer, more than likely you're going to see a staff elementalist. A strong support one will probably be running staff. In fire, you got fireball, explodes on impacts, little radius damage there, 3 targets. This is an AoE, molten lava to target area. Flame burst burns foes at target location, so you have someone targeted, and you activate that, and it'll use them as the target location. Quickly roll backwards, leaving behind a fire that burns. So if you're getting encroached on, then you roll back. They walk through the line of fire, they're taking damage walking through the fire, plus getting burning stacks. And then call down a meteor shower over target area, another AoE. 9 seconds, only 3 targets, so for 24 impacts. That's kind of weird, I expect that to be at least 5, especially with how big it is. And then this one, like I said, water is typically going to be your healing, especially in staff. Spray a jet of water to your foe, so it deals damage, and then splashes to heal nearby allies. And inflicts vulnerability and a little AoE, so it gets support. Condition, create a geyser to heal nearby enemies, AoE heal. Coats target area in ice, chilling foes that enter it. Chilling, another great support condition, and then calling down healing rain on target area, granting regeneration to allies and curing conditions once every 3 seconds. And it lasts for 6 seconds, so you can cure 2 conditions with it. Pulses 3 times, and it gives you 3 stacks of regeneration for 4 seconds. Chain lightning, standard damage. Lightning surge that damages and blinds foes when it discharges. Push foes backwards. Gives you and your allies swiftness. Another thing you'll see if you're running around a lot in cities, you'll probably want to have a staff in your inventory just so you can switch to it, so you can keep giving yourself swiftness to move around faster. And then static field, it's for dungeons, I see it being used well in boss fights, because you can throw the static field around the boss, and then the ads trying to come in to kill you guys get stunned. Probably changes in PvP, being as the skill is unique per game mode. Hurl rock and weaken your foe. Bleeding and a cripple, shake the ground until it erupts. Reflect projectiles for 4 seconds. Cause unsteady ground that foes cannot cross, effectively just a wall that they can't cross. And shockwave, more bleeding, and this one is immobilize, a little shockwave. And these are all your aquatic skills, all your down skills, and then these are all of your different slots. It's easier to go to this one. This one's fun, being in conjure training. You get to conjure different elements and different weapons, so you do get to play around with a lot of different weapons stuff. Like that one is a flame axe. You see a lot, it's all going to be flame aspect stuff. A lot of burning damage. This one's a lightning hammer. Had some knockdown, some knockups that I saw when I played with it. An earthen shield. You also gain increased toughness and vitality while using that one. You gain precision and ferocity, and that one you gain power and condition damage. Then a frost bow, dealing condition damage and healing power, and then that's a fiery great sword. One nice thing is when you use it, you target the area, like I'll show you here. You target an area, and then you also equip it immediately. So you can use one for an ally in dungeons where they can pick it up and use it and utilize it. You have yours. You have 15 attacks to do with it, and it lasts a minute. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if you switch any of your stances for elements, you still have this. Throw a lava axe, so it is ranged. Throw an explosive lava axe, AoE. Quickly roll backwards, just like with the staff. Ring of fire, like with the dagger offhand. And flame leap, a little initiate thing. But yeah, every single one, nope, not every single one. That gives you might, and that is just a little AoE thing, so. Yeah, it's kind of fun with that. I don't know why I hit escape. Same thing, like you'll summon one for yourself and then summon one, either a second one for yourself if you're doing solo PvE, or one for your ally if you're in dungeons, raids, PvP. I don't know if the conjuring would be used much in PvP. There's a lot going on. Different glyphs. Conjure training is actually the only one that doesn't come with its own heal. Glyph has a heal yourself and gain a boon based on your attunement, so it could be useful if you're taking a lot of damage. You switch over to water real fast, you heal yourself, plus give yourself regeneration. Glyph of Storms is what I'm not using right now. I was using. You create a little storm based on your attunement. Sandstorm. I would use that if every time you used it, Sandstorm started playing. I need to write a script for that. Lesser Element. Elementalist is kind of a pet class. It only lasts for 60 seconds. Get a Fire Elemental, deals damage. Ice Elemental, damage and chill. Air Elemental, damage and great swiftness. And Earth Elemental, damage and tank, effectively. This one is Elemental Power, inflict conditions on your next few strikes based on your attunement, so you can do burning, chilled, vulnerability, or bleeding. Renewal, revive allies with different attunement effects. That doesn't tell me anything. And then elements, another elemental one, just a bit different apparently. Lesser elements. So bigger one, deals damage and heals, deals damage and stuns, and deals damage and tanks. Signets. Signets are fun because all signets across all the classes have passive things and then active things. Like this one increases your critical chance, and you activate it to burn. Movement speed, activate to blind. Improves toughness. Activate for immobilize and bleed, and then cures a condition every 10 seconds, and activate for chill. Cantrip, heal yourself and cure a condition with every pulse. Cure 3 conditions and burn. Teleport, protect yourself with earth armor, gain protection and stability. Morph into an invulnerable vaporous mist for a time being. That is similar to one of your down skills on land anyways. You get to become invulnerable into a mist form and reposition yourself. And Tornado, stability, and shapeshift into a tornado that deals damage and launches foes. For 15 seconds. That's not too bad. It's unblockable. Arcane. And these are your pretty much just standard run-of-the-mill mage-styled abilities. Blast Theory, hitting foes with critical damage and healing yourself. Healing effectiveness is increased per target hit. Blast your foe with energy for critical damage. It's just single target. You and your nearby enemies do critical damage with their next few attacks. Each stack of arcane power grants bonus ferocity. Arcane Shield blocks attacks with energy shield if it blocks 3 attacks that explodes for critical damage. Seems like these would be kind of more of a melee situated build. Blast foes in close range, getting in between the fights, and pop of that, you get hit, critical damage. And if you're using this, I would recommend trying to gear for crit damage, because it's going to be hitting for critical damage anyways. May as well make that bigger with an energy wave for critical damage. And you get different specializations across all your elements, of course, and then Arcane. And then Tempest is your elite, which gives you the Warhorn and all sorts of other fun stuff. Like a shout, causing damage and granting fire aura to allies. So you gain shouts with the Tempest, apparently. Right up here, yeah, shout, healing allies that are in range. Fire shield for allies. Super speed. That might sound fun. To cripple and immobilize foes in the areas around you, and they gain a magnetic aura which reflects all projectiles. And chilling those who cannot escape. Frost aura to everyone. Oh. Oh, excuse me. But that's about it. I mean, we'll go kill a few things, show you guys kind of some of the theories on the attacks. Like most of her attacks are all going to be ranged. And say I want to switch, then we just switch to an Earth style. I mean, they all have cooldowns. Let's go ahead and summon my little elemental here. Vulnerable for no good reason. Yeah, I mean, at any point in time, if they're on cooldown, you can switch between any of the elements depending on your needs. I said that's one thing that makes the Elementalist kind of difficult, is that you have to know all 20 abilities of the weapons that you're using and know cooldowns if they have any. I mean, ranges, what they do. It's a lot to try to keep hold of. Apparently, when you have your element, you can command them to do something. Interesting. Never noticed that. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, as far as like in dungeons, they're gonna traditionally, you could tank. I would recommend probably primarying a lot of earth and excuse me, earth and water. The water to hopefully heal yourself, apply those support debuffs, and earth to soak damage. I wouldn't recommend tanking as an elementalist if you are pretty squishy, as your typical mage style person. You'll find a lot sitting in the support and the healer role and just DPS. Build ideas. I mean, you are limited in the fact that you can only have one weapon, so you can't experiment too much quickly, I guess. You see a lot of dagger, staff, of course. And then, like I said, I'm running dagger and focus right now, giving it a try. I might give something like scepter and dagger try. I don't know. It seems like a lot of the dagger stuff for offhand is close range, whereas a lot of the scepter is ranged. I don't know, we'll give it a try. You can always do scepter and focus. And then we'll definitely mess around with Warhorn when the time comes. But yeah, I mean, if I could stop yawning, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, you'll see PvP, a lot of people, a good geared support elementalist in PvP can turn the tide. They can be difficult to bring down depending on how they play, being as PvP is a lot more skill-based than gear-based than anything. Just depends on who outplays who. And yeah, next video we do on the Elementalist will be probably around level 40. It'll unlock all of these and give me the training and really get to change a lot of how things go. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on the videos that I'm recording today and publishing throughout the week. And as always, I will see you guys next time.